the hive beneath my skin. I still remember the day they turned their backs on me, the day the laughter reached a fever pitch, drowning me in a sea of ridicule. "You'll lose your mind, you know," my brother had sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. "Studying parasites? What a disgrace to the family." It was a simple dinner, a mundane gathering, but it became the crucible that melted away my last ties to sanity. I was the black sheep, exiled from their world for daring to pursue something they deemed grotesque and unscientific, my passion for parasitic symbiosis investigations. Years later, I returned home, not as the disgraced entomologist I once was, but as a figure cloaked in chilling recognition. I had delved deep into the whispers of academia, unearthing truths that would make even the most hardened skeptics tremble. I had become a conduit for the horrifying knowledge of sentient insect colonies that lived within human hosts, thriving off our own flesh. I was no longer the punchline to their jokes. I was a warning, a harbinger of the terrifying realities they had chosen to ignore. The house looked the same, a relic of my childhood. The peeling paint, the sagging porch, each creak of the floorboards whispered of memories I had tried to escape. As I stepped inside, the familiar scent of stale coffee and dust enveloped me. My heart raced. I had not come to gloat, but the weight of my journey pressed heavily on my chest. I was a vessel of truths that could not be unlearned. "Look who's back!" my mother exclaimed, her voice a mixture of surprise and feigned cheer. The warmth in her tone felt hollow, and I could see my father's frown deepen as he glanced at me over his newspaper. My brother, ever the cynic, barely acknowledged my presence, his eyes rolling at the sight of my battered satchel, a constant companion through my years of exile. "Eleanor," he said, sarcasm lacing his words, "have you come to tell us more about your ridiculous obsession with bugs?" I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks, but I held my ground, the memories of their laughter echoing in my mind. "Actually, I've come to share some discoveries," I replied, forcing a smile that fell flat. Their disbelief had always been a thorn in my side, and now it felt like a harbinger of something darker. As the evening wore on, I recounted my experiences, my voice trembling with the weight of what I had witnessed. I spoke of the colonies that thrived within the human psyche, of the parasitic bonds that twisted the very fabric of reality. Each word was a thread weaving a tapestry of horror, and I could see the skepticism etched on their faces, the disbelief that had once crushed my spirit beginning to crack. "Enough of this nonsense," my father finally barked, slamming his palm against the table. "You've lost it, haven't you?" "You're just a joke, Eleanor." I felt the familiar sting of their derision, but I had learned to embrace the darkness that came with my knowledge. "You have no idea what I faced," I whispered, the shadows of my past clawing at the edges of my sanity. "You don't understand the horrors that lurk just beneath the surface." Then, as if the universe itself had conspired to teach them a lesson, the lights flickered ominously. A chill swept through the room. And for a fleeting moment, I felt the weight of unseen eyes watching us. My family exchanged uneasy glances, but I pressed on. "You think I'm delusional? You think I'm insane? Look around you. The truth is here, waiting to be seen." And that's when it happened. A low, pulsating hum began to resonate within the walls, vibrating through our bones. My heart raced as the air thickened, a dark presence coiling around us. I could feel it, the energy of the colonies I had studied, the sentience that thrived in the shadows. They had come to witness the ridicule I had endured, to reveal the weight of my revelations. "Eleanor, what is happening?" My mother's voice trembled, her facade of indifference crumbling. And then, from the corners of the room, they emerged, tiny, iridescent insects, swarming in a grotesque ballet of life and death. They crawled over the furniture, across the walls. their bodies glistening in the dim light. I watched as my family recoiled, their expressions morphing from disbelief to horror. The very thing they had mocked now danced before them, a living testament to the truths I had uncovered. "Do you see them?" I shouted over the rising cacophony. "They thrive in the dark, feeding off our ignorance. You've laughed at my passion.